Hello everybody and welcome back to another great commentary video. So, when Guardians of the Galaxy came out, there was a small Easter egg to Howard the Duck in the movie, which made the internet go kind of insane. Then he appeared in Guardians Volume 2 and Endgame, and we haven't really heard from him since, which is to be expected because like one movie has come out since then. Several months later, I watched some videos about Guardians of the Galaxy, and they mentioned the Howard the Duck movie from the 1980s, describing it as insane. I, a lover of terrible movies, was very interested. Then, a month ago, I went on Amazon Prime and saw that the movie was included if you had a Showtime subscription, which I had, but was going away in a few days. This was the final straw that finally made me watch it, and I did. It sucked. Let's go over it.
Across the sea of stars lies another world, a world almost exactly like ours. This is where he lives. He's 27 years old, single but searching. Favorite sports, windsurfing and aikido. Favorite pastimes, cigars and sex.
Howard the Duck is a 1986 science fiction comedy that was directed by Willard Huyck and stars Lorraine McFly from Back to the Future, a sex offender, and the president from the movie Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me. It had George Lucas as the executive producer, and mind you, this is just a few years after the original trilogy of Star Wars. This movie was originally intended to be animated, but due to contractual obligation, it was live action. This obviously put it on a great start, and after production difficulties and mixed responses at test screenings, it released August 1st, 1986. It was obviously a commercial and critical failure with a budget of $37 million and getting $15 million at the box office. It was nominated for 7 Golden Raspberry Awards and won 4 of them, including Worst Picture, Worst Visual Effects, and Worst Screenplay. Now that I obviously have shown my bias for the movie, let's watch it. The movie starts with an opening shot of the city and Howard's house. Here we learn that he has a girlfriend called Michelle, and there's a bunch of Duck movie posters, including one for Breeders of the Lost Stork. None of this is important, just thought I'd mention it. Keep in mind, George Lucas was the executive producer on both movies, and he made one of the iconic movie posters one of his own movies. This is off to a great start. We learned that Howard is a cool duck that gets all the ladies and all the boys want to hang out with. He sits down and watches some TV while smoking a guitar. On the TV, there are actually some comedic bits.
Oh, Fred, I love you so much. It hurts. I can't.
Some that are weaker.
Forget it! $49.99? No way! I'm crazy with it, and my prices are insane!
He gets bored and picks up Play Duck magazine and looks at the free page foldout. Basically, Howard the Duck is off to a great start. His apartment suddenly starts shaking, and he and his chair get pulled backwards through several walls into the sky where there's a portal. I would make fun of this scene intensely, but I think you can already tell that this movie is great. Also, the Earth Howard lives on is an egg, so that's a cute little detail. Anyway, he comes down to Earth with some terrible CGI special effects and lands in a random alley. But unfortunately, there's a scary gang there. So the scary gang takes him in a club, hands him to some nerd, gets thrown out, crashes into a homeless woman, almost gets hit by a bus, touches a couple making out, runs into a motorcycle gang, falls on one of the motorcycles, lands inside a trash can, and passes out inside of it. Mind you, this whole sequence takes place over like a minute. We are not even 10 minutes into this movie, and all of this has happened. I can at least say that the pacing is quick. Later, as one of the singers from the club is going home, she gets harassed by 2 more gang members, which Howard is very annoyed by. Like, hey dude, she's getting sexually harassed and you're just annoyed by this? What? He finally goes to defend Lorraine McFly, who's actually called Beverly.
That's it. No more Mr. Nice Duck.
And after some more atrocious dialogue,
I've been doing too much toot!
Howard defeats the 2 thugs with Quack Fu. Then Beverly and Howard talk a little bit, very, very, very subtly making sure that we know that Beverly isn't very darn smart.
The planet's called Earth, I think.
But Beverly is nice, so she invites Howard into her and her band's apartment. We also get some slight foreshadowing about how her band manager sucks, but we'll see that play out later. They talk a bit, and in another horribly edited scene, Howard gets PTSD from his trip to Earth. I don't know how to explain it, just watch it.
No, not again!
Howard, it's okay. You're all right.
Yeah, it's weird. So then Howard explains how he sold out or whatever, and how he has some inner turmoil, blah blah blah. This also never turns out to be important later, and he falls asleep. Beverly decides it's a good idea to snoop for his wallet, which is a strange idea on its own, but even weirder is that the shots are just Beverly taking something out of Howard's wallet and having a tiny reaction.
Howard.
Finally, she settles down and... Wait. What are you doing, Beverly? No, he's a duck. Beverly, a duck. Look at him. He's so incredibly ugly, and he is a duck. I sure hope that doesn't turn up later at all. It does. So it's the next morning, and Howard and Beverly go to visit Beverly's friend Phil, who's a scientist, because they want to figure out where he's from, how to get him back, and how he got there, but whatever. Turns out that Phil is insane, and then Howard and Beverly just leave? Hey, Beverly, you said you knew Phil. Why are you just now realizing he's wacko? And he literally just wants to do some experience while talking in a wacky way, where you're just like, nope, this idiot can't help us. What? So Phil holds him back and says that he already has a theory about how Howard got there, and then he expositions to us about how on Howard's plan, instead of apes evolving into humans, it was ducks evolving into duck people. So that's all fine and whatever, but it turns out that Phil's not even a scientist, he's a lab assistant. I don't even blame him that much for it, because it's implied that Beverly has been friends with him for a while, and yet she just found out about this. What? And even so, why does it matter? He can still help you out potentially, if his theory is correct, so why are you storming out right now? Okay. How far are we into the movie? 25 minutes in. And how long is the movie? An hour and 40 minutes? Okay, cool. So Howard storms out, and Beverly asks him why he's so mad. So Howard explains that he got blasted through space onto another planet.
And we're given an IQ test by a janitor. You'd be a little pissed off too.
This is when Howard gets annoyed that Beverly is trying to help him. So they fight, and then right after, in a very surprisingly calm tone for someone who was just in a fight. Great writing, William Willard Huyck and Gloria Katz. He decides he needs food, shelter, and a job. So naturally, like in every single kids movie, he goes to the Ohio Employment Office. Did I mention they're in Cleveland? For some reason, this is mentioned like 20 times in the movie. Now, this is a very strange scene. Basically, the employment helper lady, whatever, says,
They send me all the psycho cases, all the misfits, all the phonies and the fakers who think that by traipsing in here looking outlandish, they're not going to be able to find work.
It's my fault I got a shoplift at the Little Tyke section of Goodwill.
I'm not talking about your clothes. I'm talking about your face.
Hey.
You think that by looking controversial, you're never going to find a job. And just
but
go on
here's the thing. One, if people are coming to the office, aren't they looking for a job? Is she implying that people are coming to get told that they can't get a job at all? What? No, that doesn't make sense. And two, no, she's just wrong. Other people who look like Howard probably don't walk in because he's a duck. So what can be implied here is that George Lucas or the writers are trying to make a metaphor. So please correct me if I'm being wrong or offensive. But are the writers of the movie trying to imply that black people are like ducks in the workplace? I'm sorry if this is wrong, but I don't know what else it could be. So then what the message is that black people come into jobs expecting to be discriminated against for the color of their skin, and they shouldn't because they just need to work hard to get a job? Nah, I'm probably looking too much into it. But anyways, let's take a break for a short quiz. Now, tell me, kids, what you think will happen. Will Howard A. get a job, become self-sufficient, and live his own life. B. Lose his job, lose his life, and forever become turmoiled by the fact that he's a duck in a world of humans. Or C. Get a typical boring character arc where he works for a bit, hates the job, quits, and then finds the other person. If you bet C, I hope you bet the farm, because you bet exactly right. Congratulations, you win $10 million. The Howard gets a job scene is really weird, however, because Howard works at a hot tub fever, and I would show you the clips where they just set up where Howard is, but unfortunately, I do not want my channel to get flagged for nudity. Howard takes a break, which I think he can do legally, but the boss tells him to go fix a hot tub jet while there are people in it, but when Howard doesn't want to go in it, he gets tossed into the hot tub. But it gets better. There's a lava of love area that's just a mud bath, and when the owner is cleaning it, Howard slides on the floor, like the cool duck he is, pushes the owner in, and guess what he says? He says, "Whoops, guess I slipped." But why is that cool? Because 5 seconds earlier, the owner said the same thing when throwing Howard into the pool. Isn't that cool? Isn't he being awesome? And then Howard quits like the awesome duck he is. Isn't this such a great movie? I love it! God, I love this movie. Sorry about that. Gosh, I guess I just love this movie too much, and sometimes I break into uncontrollable fits of rage trying to explain it. Isn't that just crazy? Oh, we still have 70 minutes left in the movie. Well, let's just keep going then. So Howard is on the street, obviously, so he takes a bus on which people are just making fun of him aggressively, and has a weird double line or something. I don't know who messed this up.
What is that? That's a duck! That's a duck, man!
Howard gets out in front of a TV store where everywhere it's just saying, "Hey, it's duck hunting season and we are gonna kill a lot of ducks. We love killing ducks, and you are a duck." This does come up later in the movie, but for now, Howard runs away in fear because there are some hunters, in front of the store with him, and they are eyeing him up. So he finds himself right in front of a nightclub where, surprise, surprise, Beverly's band is performing. So it turns out that the manager has basically just been taking all the band's money, so Howard threatens the manager, and he just gets pushed down the bar by some thugs with terrible fake accents. But he comes back, and there's a big old fight. I'm really sorry if I'm explaining this scene badly, but in my defense, it's a really bad scene. And my voice broke really badly right there. So Howard threatens their manager with some bodily mutilation. There's some weird dialogue.
Space rabies.
Bad accents.
I don't know, Chinch. I heard something about that on the news.
But overall, what happens in the scene is that Howard gets all the money for the band and is the new manager for them. So Howard meets up with the Cherry Bombs, tells them the good news when Phil comes in. He's his usual crazy self, spouting conspiracy theories when he comes in with tongs or something and tells him he needs one of Howard's feathers. He says this in like a really psycho way, however, so yeah, Phil, obviously he's gonna be worried if you're acting like this.
If it matches, it'll be the answer to all your problems.
But Phil gets the feather, runs away into the sunset, and Howard crashes at Beverly's place. Good thing no scene shows what happens there. No scene? There's not a scene here that exists, and I know this, because there is no scene. I don't want to do this. Please don't make me do this. So Howard and Beverly are at Beverly's apartment when Howard sees a little piano. So he plays a tune, and Beverly comes on out of the bathroom in her nightwear. Now, I don't want to show it, because this is a mostly PG channel, but let me just say that it's very much PG by 1986 standards, which, if you don't remember, Jaws is rated PG. That's all I'm gonna say. So you talk a bit, Howard explains how he used to be in a band called Howard and Heartbreakers, and Beverly proposes the idea of Howard being the band's manager. Howard says no, that he doesn't want any other jobs in the real world, but then Beverly leans on the bed and No, why? Howard says the most awkward line in all of cinema.
I have developed a greater appreciation for the female version of the human anatomy.
But Beverly thankfully declines, but still invites him to watch David Letterman in bed.
Okie dokie.
So she says that she thinks that Howard is really gonna turn her life around, and if she deals with career issues, then she'll just have normal problem getting a good man. And I'll just play the clip.
Maybe it's not a man you should be looking for.
You think I might find happiness in the animal kingdom, Ducky?
Like they say, Dal, love's strange. We could always give it a try.
Okay.
Wait, what? So for some more non-monetizable material, Beverly tries to seduce Howard. Howard gets a duck boner, but it all turns out to be alright because she was just joshing him. Phew. But just as Beverly is giving Howard a little kiss goodnight, Phil and the gang arrive. So obviously Beverly is traumatized, but she kind of deserves it. It's not one of those scenes like in Shrek when a character overhears something rude and thinks it's being directed to them. No, she was literally just kissing Howard, the duck. And let me just say, if Beverly was romantically interested, or at least considering, or even kissed Howard, I have more hope in my own romantic exploits. Just saying. So Phil and Two Butts had walked in because the door was open, and Phil introduces the two men as being called Carter and Dr. Walter Jennings. And by the way, Carter isn't that important, but Dr. Walter Jennings definitely is. So Beverly asked them what they're doing here, and apparently they had compared a feather of Howard to some other one that they had found, and upon seeing the feather, Howard says some of the worst dialogue in movie history ever.
On my planet, we never say die, we say kill!
For some reason, they also repeat this line like 3 more times in the movie. So Howard is going to attack them, but he calms down after hearing that Dr. Jennings can explain how he got to Earth. What? No. What? So they explained to him that they were measuring the gases somewhere in space when their spectroscope, whatever thingy, had been redirected to hit Howard's planet by some force in space. In the lab, they had seen a single feather fall after that incident, but hadn't realized that the rest of Howard had landed just 2 miles away in an alley. So Howard is once again aggressive and demands for them to just reverse the laser and get him back. So obviously they're gonna say no, it's not plausible, but then the doctor says,
Now wait a minute. If we could generate a strong enough hypercharge, you can't do that.
it might be plausible, and spew some science mumbo jumbo, right? Yeah, obviously, because this movie is either insane or unoriginal. I'm not saying either can't be done well, like an unoriginal story being fun or an insane idea being a great one, but this movie is neither. So they say they can do it, but need to do it tonight, while the alignment still exists. Yeah. So Howard and Beverly have this very bad scene where Beverly packs up a bag for Howard. There's a weird scene where Beverly finds some of Howard's feathers in her bed and proves that PG for 1986 was just a very loose phrase. So they arrive at the lab, but something seems to be off. There's no guard, and when they get to the lab, there's an alarm. They see a dude coming out, and it turns out the rocket or alignment thingy exploded again. So they walk into the lab, and we get told again that the rocket exploded. Dr. Jennings, this guy, had taken the full blast of the explosion and had mysteriously disappeared. What's the timeline here? Because wasn't he just in the apartment? Okay. So weirdly, they just call this random cop in, and everyone makes a big deal of calling Howard a thing when Howard does look like a metamorphic duck.
You better take a look at this other thing first. A thing?
Howard is just an innocent,
Thing?
no, duck.
You got a thing in here? Thing.
Like, he looks stupid, but he does look duck-like. By the way, this is me after I had written the script. I don't know why they're arresting him. Just because he's a duck and they're weirded out by him. It's very strange. They think Howard is a man in a duck costume, so they strip him naked and discover he doesn't have any zipper or buttons. He's just a duck. I'm sure when naked he'll just look all cute and Why does he need to look so goddamn ugly? Oh god. So they take him away on the charge of an illegal alien, but Howard and Beverly come up with a smart plan. They throw a cigar into a trash can, have the police officer that's escorting Howard get in there to snuff it out, and steal his gun and threaten him at gunpoint. And then they don't even tie him up or hold him for hostage. Literally, they just leave with the key, hide under some stairs, and the guy tells the other cops. Like, I know Beverly didn't know what planet she was on earlier in the movie, but come on. Did they just hold him at gunpoint and say, like, see ya, gonna go, bye? What? So Beverly and Howard are hiding under some stairs when they hear that cops giving orders. Howard is apparently armed because he stole a gun, so naturally he throws the gun away and then say he's extremely dangerous and that they should shoot to kill. Those are the exact words from the script. The cop tells the other cops to kill Howard the Duck. I mean, I agree, but still. So you find Dr. Jennings while running away, but something weird is going on. And let me tell you, we can see it. He's all red, making these weird noises, and later says it feels like something is inside him, gnawing on his guts. So obviously they decide to drive away, and since this is a kids movie, they just commit a couple of road accidents and crimes on the way. But Dr. Jennings is getting more red and says that pain is unbearable. He feels like he's transforming, with a mildly offensive joke by Howard.
Oh, great. Like a sex change or something.
But generally, this scene is actually kind of funny. Dr. Jennings is being silly and goofy and swollen, while Howard and Beverly are just cracking puns while literally just crashing through rows.
It's replicating and superseding all my internal organs.
We'll stop at a bathroom.
This scene is so stupid that it's actually my favorite one. Anyways, they safely make it to our restaurant and go inside. Jennings says that
The transformation is complete.
and he is now someone else. Real descriptive, I know. So they figure he's just joshing them, and decide to go inside the restaurant while being hunted down by the police, mind you. Howard proves once again he's a massive douchebag that deserves no love.
Hey, honey. Yo.
And acts like a massive jerk, but everyone's just fine with it for some reason. The waitress comes over, they order their food. Jennings says something about how they'll see the end of the old world and how a new world will start. You know, normal Wednesday afternoon. Honestly, this is sort of where the movie lost me. Jennings says he's one of the dark overlords of the universe, and something about the laser thingy unleashing him, blah blah blah, something Marvel probably wrote in like a single comic once upon a time, and now they're using it, blah blah blah. So this is all dark and spooky. But then the waitress comes over and Howard screams because there's eggs on his plate. Good scene. But then right after, for no apparent reason, Jennings just makes the ketchup and mustard bottles explode with some weird CGI superpowers. Wait, there's superpowers now? Like, I know this is Marvel, but they have no setup for this at all. And I know everything probably isn't George Lucas's fault, but it's funny to imply that. So what the hell, George? There's another great fight scene because George had some extra couple $100s to spend, which isn't really important past the really bad dialogue,
One's for you, cracker!
really bad CGI, and a really racist Asian stereotype.
And he can destroy you and the Earth.
But you know, classic superhero movies. So this scene is pretty big, not a lot changes, but basically there's a key card that Jennings and Howard both want, because it'll activate the laser space thingy, and if they can use the laser space thingy, Howard can get back home, and Jennings can get more of the Dark Overlords to the Earth. Dr. Jennings has kidnapped Beverly and is taking her to the lab because the Dark Overlords need bodies to inhibit. So I don't know why he didn't kidnap more people from the restaurant, but you know, whatever, won't question it. There's this weird part where Jennings is driving Beverly and needs more energy, so he has like this big puppet tentacle come out of his mouth and electrocute him to give him more energy, which is weird, but there's so many scenes like this in the movie, I feel like I'm wasting your guys' time just explaining them all. So back at the restaurant, all the cops and the ambulances arrive, because Jennings basically blew up the place. Phil, you know, the crazy is there, and Howard helps him get out of the cop car he's in. I don't remember why he's arrested, but, well, something at the lab. So they sneak out the back, and guess what's there? A small plane-like build that apparently somebody was just working on as a hobby. Isn't that convenient? So basically, it's the day now, if you're wondering why everything is lighter now. And Beverly and Jennings are at a power plant, while Howard and Phil take off in the mini-plane. It's funny because literally no cops fire a gun on them despite having an order of shoot to kill. But, you know, who cares? I really don't anymore. Howard is also apparently scared of flying the machine, so obviously Phil lets him be the one who controls it. The duck who's scared of flying gets to fly the flying machine over the actual almost scientist. Common sense, I guess. I'm getting way too mad over this film, Jesus Christ. Beverly and Jennings have like 3 scenes that intercut during like a 15-minute long chase scene of the police and Howard. First, Beverly and Jennings go to a nuclear plant where Jennings breaks in and steals power because he needs it? Yeah. Then there's a scene like in a mission check-in line. I don't know what that's about, but I guess George Lucas was very proud of some sound effect he had made or bought because it's used like 10 times in a row. And then finally Beverly and Jennings get to the space station area where the laser thingy is, and a bit later so do Howard and Phil. Right after they go through a train and into a pond. Obviously. So Beverly is strapped down to a table while Jennings calibrates the laser thingy, and Howard and Phil sneak in and realize that they literally cannot defeat this guy. Phil does, however, know where an ion disintegrator or something weapon is, so they go there, get it, and come back to Jennings. They have this really long battle scene where Jennings fires lasers and whatever at Howard, and Howard blasts Jennings with the ion disintegrator thingy. The special effects team uses all their budget, the VFX team makes a bunch of explosion, but everything seems to be fine. Dr. Jennings is A-okay, but the Dark Overlord is loose. So they free Beverly, but then this horrific monstrosity pops out. What the hell is this thing that totally doesn't look super fake? Yeah, no. Wait, I thought the reason why Jennings kidnapped Beverly was because Dark Overlords need a body to survive. Am I just missing something, or is this a giant plot hole? Hey, so this is a bit later, but I just realized that earlier Jennings said he didn't want to use his real self because it looked hideous. But but didn't the Dark Overlords just want to take over the world? Because then it doesn't matter. Or do they just want to fit in on Earth? So then why does Jennings literally blow up everywhere he goes? Probably shouldn't think about it too hard. So they battle once more, and Howard zaps it again, but the Dark Overlord calls more Dark Overlords, so Howard has to make the choice. Zap the machine and give up on Duck World forever, or let the Dark Overlords come and just leave everybody on Earth. Yeah, you blast it. Oh look, another sound effect repeated 1,000,000 times. So the machine explodes and Howard looks like he's dead, but he's not, and everything is great. And the movie ends with the Cherry Bombs performing on a big stage to a big crowd, where even Howard gets to strum some sick tunes. And we're done. Phew. So, what's so bad about this movie? Well, there's a lot of stuff. I think the biggest problem this movie has is its story. It constantly introduces new plot elements like the keycard or the ion disintegrator, which, let me tell you, neither was introduced beforehand. Both just kind of appear in the story and we're supposed to just go along with it. There's a bunch of plot holes in the movie, like I described, and the movie just constantly throws stuff at you instead of properly setting it up. I watched a great video recently about how Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse had one of the best payoffs in a movie ever, but I would like to nominate this movie as one of the worst at payoffs, because the only time I ever thought, finally, yes, was when I saw Howard dead a couple of times. Another big problem is all the characters and how insanely inconsistent they are. They're not only annoying, but everybody just has 2 personality traits that they operate on depending on how the scene needs them to act. Howard is either this lovable goofball or a giant jerk who everyone hates. Beverly is either a really nice, really caring person, or she's an idiot who doesn't know what planet she's on. And yes, I'm still salty about it. The most annoying of these was 100% Dr. Jennings in his Dark Overlord form, because one second he was this menacing, creepy villain, and the other he's just cracking puns.
Smog inspection.
How does this alien have the exact same style of wordplay humor as humans, huh? Then there's a lot of smaller issues like the bad CGI, which is excusable for 1986, the weird use of sound effects, the writing, the acting, just a lot of bad movie stuff. So what messed up the movie? I personally think it's because the movie was originally supposed to be animated, but due to contracts and whatever, it had to be live action. So if this movie was animated, I think a lot more stuff would make sense. All the goofy scenes would work better, and all the weird adult jokes would sort of just be erased out of the movie, because it would be deemed as more of a kids movie. It's the problem a lot of content like Star Wars Rebels faces, where it's trying to appeal to both the children demographic and the adult demographic, and never really committing. And the thing is, this movie wasn't just a bad movie, it also just messed up a bunch of stuff. The director never directed any movie ever again. Leif Thompson was devastated by the failure. A studio executive lost his job because of it, and Ed Gale, the actor of Howard, literally had his fingers taped together to fit the costume of Howard, and his fingers stayed that way for months afterwards, just naturally, without any tape. That's how much this movie sucks. It mutilated a man's body. But apparently it indirectly created Pixar, so that's cool. I don't know, I just don't think this movie really deserves the cult following it has gained, and it's just overall bad movie. 3 out of 10. At least I won't ever have to think about this ever again. Wait, Lee Thompson wants to remake this movie, and she's already pitched it to Marvel? Oh god. Oh no. Oh no. Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed that video. I know it's a bit longer than some of my other videos, and it's a much different topic than I usually cover, but I watched this movie and it was just so terrible that I thought I needed to make a video about it. Also, the fact that I've been watching a lot of movie reviews and essays on YouTube lately didn't really help. Now, I haven't seen you guys since Christmas and haven't had a nice long video since like mid-December, so I thought I would bring you up to date on some things, plug some stuff just to start out 2021. First of all, thank you guys so much for all the support in 2020. I know that it was a rough year for a lot of people, but personally, it wasn't that bad. Obviously, there was a lot of problems, but I got to make a lot more YouTube content this year because of it, and made some great friends online for YouTube. This was also my best performing year just in general. I got like 3,500 views on YouTube in 2020, which is like 3/5 of all my views ever. So thank you guys so much for that. I hit 100 subscribers. One of my videos hit 1,000 views, even though it is ironic and doesn't really represent me as a person at all, so that sucks. And my videos have just been much more popular this year, and I think their quality has just gone up and up. So thank you guys so much for motivating me and supporting me all the time. Now promo. One, I have a Discord server, but it isn't too active, which is fine. But if you want to stop by there, chat to some people, I would really appreciate it. Along with that, I don't ever plug my social media, so if you want to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, they are all linked down in the description. I'm weirdly the most active on Letterboxd, which, if you don't know, is like a movie reviewing website. But this year, my goal is to watch one movie a day, at least, for an entire year. And I will be reviewing all of those on my Instagram stories. So far, I'm doing pretty good. Or at least I am while recording this script currently. Currently, it's like a week or so before the video has been released, so who knows. Go follow me on all those places, because I, like followers. Finally, plans for 2021. I have a bunch of YouTube milestones I want to reach this year, so you can go see those over on my Discord server, one of which I've already achieved, so I'm changing it from 5,000 to 6,000 total views to 8,000 total views. Let's hope I make it to that. Along with that, I don't really have any plans for 2021, apart from the fact that I want to make more and better videos. I will definitely do a lot of gaming videos, some tributes, that even though some of you guys don't like, they do get a lot of views, and I enjoy making them. And maybe some movie related stuff like this video, except much shorter, because this was a lot. If you have any game recommendations or movies I should make videos about, just leave them in the comments, you know. Also, I will maybe hopefully get a new and better PC this year, because currently there's a lot of gaming videos I haven't made just because they either turn out really laggy and bad looking when I record them, or because the video game I'm playing is just really laggy and bad looking when I play it. 2 videos I can near certain promise is a Bed Wars video of my friends and a Garfield card video. So as long as nothing goes wrong, they should come out. I will be changing my upload schedule to once every 2 weeks because my school is opening up again for some reason. But my main goal for 2021 is just to make people happy. You know, I think it's like January 7th when I'm recording this segment, and 2 pretty big bad things have already happened this year. So if I can make your day or week or month or even your year better, I hope I can. I just want to say thank you again and encourage you to like and subscribe. It's really easy and it does really help me out so much, because if I could make money off of this, that would be great. Then I could even make better videos. If you would like to be reminded of all my new videos when they come out, you can click the little bell next to the subscribe button, because that will just notify you every time I post, and you can have the coveted spot of commenting first on any video I make. Ain't that just swell? So yeah, like, subscribe, ring the bell, go check out my other videos and social medias, and thank you guys so much for all the support in 2020. Good luck in 2021. Bye!
Thank you.